At Vibe Aesthetics and Wellness, we believe confidence isn't just how you look, it's how you feel. From subtle, natural aesthetics to personalized wellness care, everything we do is intentional. This is beauty with purpose. At Vibe Men's Health, we take that same approach. We focus on what matters most: strength, energy, and performance. Built on real data, real medicine, and real results, we're here to help you look better, feel stronger, and live fully. Come vibe with us today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Good evening and happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Gabe Boehner here for Mississippi Live at 10. And what we're taking a look at, well, it's a story that seems all too familiar, right? Heat advisories and extreme heat warnings continue to tell the tale as we approach our Wednesday. Those expiring Wednesday at 8 p.m. And while some of these might be pushed back by Thursday, I do expect at least some form or fashion of our area being covered by heat advisories even into our Thursday. Extreme heat warnings, what does that mean? Well, it means those feels like values could be up to 110 degrees. That's Tunica, Coahoma, Quitman, and Tallahatchie County. Everywhere else in our viewing area, other than Tishomingo and Franklin, under those heat advisories. But even if you're in Tishomingo and Franklin County, I would still be monitoring some of those temperatures for you. Just might feel a little bit better than other locations. Severe weather risk, I know there's not much to see here, but right along 72, basically north of 72, is what we're watching for any limited severe weather development. What this is based off of is number of reports. So the fact that we have even a slight sliver of green means those reports are expected to be limited, but it is not an impossibility as we go about our Wednesday afternoon plans. We'll track that out county by county in just a moment, but that's what we're watching for, is that gusty wind potential with Wednesday's storms. Those developing by the afternoon. Again, we'll time that out a little bit better in just a moment with our future cast. Dangerous heat builds back today, feeling a little bit better. I say that lightly. It still felt pretty oppressive outside, but it gets a little bit worse tomorrow as temperatures do climb in every which way. Heat indices and temperatures and moisture all climbing into our Wednesday. And as we get into Mississippi Live news, our Emily Leonard going to join us talking about a local couple being named for a humanitarian award. Exciting time for them. Excited and proud here in North Mississippi to show them off here on Mississippi Live News coming up in just a few moments. Let's start with a little bit of weather. Hey, it is Mississippi Live weather, so we do like to go after our expertise at the top of the show. The first 12, you can see how overnight we are going to stay mild and muggy. Temperature 78 degrees by 11. We're low 70s, and I will say that's a general average for the start of our Wednesday. Some areas cooler, others much warmer, and we'll look at those low temperatures in just a moment. Throughout the day, though, you see those 10% starting to trickle on back. All of that is due to this warm front that remains overhead at our 10 o'clock hour, and this is attached to an entire frontal system, that of which will bring in cooler air. I know, we've all been looking for it. Cooler air is possible by the weekend. That cold front moving through North Mississippi and going to eventually give us drier conditions, which in a sense will make it feel better, cooler outside when it comes to those heat indices. But for the time being, rain chances remain a possibility, and whenever that warm front lingers, temperatures are going to be pretty toasty as well. So overnight, we're staying mild and muggy, but you see how we basically split North Mississippi with this warm front. What this means for our temperature forecast is north of the front feeling a little bit better, but south and west, it is continuing to be those warm temperatures to start the day. I'm not even going to say mild anymore, because whenever you're talking about 80 degrees for spots, that's definitely a warm start to the day. But if you're in Corinth, Iuka, over there towards Franklin County, hey, not a bad start whatsoever. We're 69 in Red Bay, 70 Iuka, Boonville, and Corinth, 72 Tupelo and Houston. But watch as we move further south and west, like we mentioned, 76 Cleveland, Belzona, and 79 down around Greenville. So I mean, it's just been toasty. That's how it goes, and that's what we can continue through the rest of the week. 73 at drop-off, but there's the heat building in. 92 towards lunch, and 98 by that final bell. 98, the lower end of the spectrum when we're talking about that high temperature forecast. So folks there at IMPC, I know, trying to give you a little bit of hope, and I'm saying hope with 98 degrees. I'm talking about some triple digits on the table across North Mississippi. So we'll track that out as we go through Futurecast, and as we approach those afternoon hours where the temperatures are climbing, the warm front starts to lift further off there towards the north. This is opening the door to the warm sector here in North Mississippi, and that's going to allow the moisture to build. It's going to allow the temperatures to climb, And once we reach that convective temperature, well, these storms do start firing off. We see that by mid-afternoon, those storms popping up right along that Natchez Trace corridor around Houston. That's close to the Witch Dance exit over there, or the Witch Dance rest stop over there in West Point, and down around Columbus. Watching that for you as we move it along 45 more towards Brooksville, down there towards northern Noxubee County. So watching that development by mid-afternoon, that does continue to extend by the late afternoon. One of the things that we've seen Monday and even tonight are these boundaries that develop with those first thunderstorms. So while the positioning seems very sporadic, once we get that first storm to occur, we can kind of see where those boundaries are moving into. And that's what I think Futurecast is depicting here, is the fact that those boundaries, latching off of Houston, West Point, Columbus, start to push off there towards the south and west, allowing for some development in Grenada, down towards Louisville, and along 14, perhaps all the way into Macon. So we're watching that for you, and fortunately, bring some rainfall. Unfortunately, might bring some gusty winds with it as well. And we saw the lightning causing a few sporadic power outages. That is definitely on the table for those that experience those thunderstorms on our Wednesday. But what's going to be the larger story is our temperature forecast. I mentioned triple digits on the table. We're 101 Tupelo, 101 Bruce and Grenada, 100 Senatobia and South Haven, 103 Clarksdale and Greenville, 102 Belzona. Our record is 104 degrees. Going into tomorrow evening, our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut is going to be looking at those record high temperatures and how we fared city by city. Potentially tied, maybe even set a couple heading into our Wednesday. Now you do see off here towards the north and east, 96 Iuka, 95 in Red Bay, 97 Hamilton, Alabama. So that's why we do a general average there. Some locations are better. A lot of locations are unfortunately worse, being hotter in the grand scheme of things. Feels like values 105 to 110 degrees, and out west of 55, we're seeing a lot of values in excess of 110 degrees. While we could argue, well, warnings should be extended, maybe they shouldn't. It's really still telling the story that heat will be a big factor in our forecast. So we need to make sure that we're staying hydrated, whether it's orange or purple over your area. Still stay hydrated, still stay cool, and do not go outside in this heat if you do not have to. It is miserable. But as we go into those overnight hours, temperatures do get better. This is when the Manor house gets their yard watered and their garden watered. So you can follow in the footsteps of myself and join me at 10 o'clock at night watering those flowers. But as we continue by midnight, we are seeing those mostly clear conditions overhead. Rain chances further off there towards our north, but those will eventually build in by our Thursday morning. Light showers right along 72 from Corinth to Olive Branch. But as we head further into our Thursday, better rain chances build in by the afternoon. But there's plenty of warm air, plenty of moisture in our area to start the day. 80 degrees in Greenville, mid 70s for the rest of us along 45, upper 70s along 55. What this is telling us is there's plenty of moisture in the air, plenty of buoyancy to get those storms going throughout the day, and perhaps a few not possible to see on the stronger side. I would not be shocked at all getting into our Thursday afternoon if we did see a few of those strong storms overhead. Watch by lunchtime and beyond how that frontal boundary moves overhead, and that's going to be the lift. When we combine that with our convective temperature, well, that does up some of that thunderstorm activity, and right there you could see some of these cyclical cells that develop where they rise up in the air, have high storm tops, and then eventually collapse on down. And that's where we get those gusty winds, a term we call microburst, and that's something we see typically this time of year. But we have the lifting mechanism in that front, so the Storm Prediction Center, I would not be shocked if they put out a level 1 risk to accompany some of these storms into our Thursday. So be mindful of it. Some strong storms do remain possible, but we're not expecting a ton of reports. Just where those storms do occur along that boundary, it does have the potential to at least get some of those gustier winds out of it. 95 Oxford into Albany. North of that front, you can see Thursday feeling a little bit better. 94 Corinth and Holly Springs. The moment we go south of that front, 98 Bruce and Eupora, 99 towards Houston, 99 Greenwood, 100 Belzona, and 102 in Greenville. So once again, heat is telling the story, but for some locations taking a step back. I would say north of 6, probably not seeing those heat advisories on your Thursday. South of there though, yeah, still going to be, unfortunately, under those heat advisories. So we'll watch that as we continue over the next 24 hours. But National Weather Service at least putting some form or fashion of heat advisories in our coverage area in North Mississippi. 94 Saturday, 94 by Sunday for your weekend. It is going to be hot. Few storms possible, but overall coverage should be down compared to where we've been at today, where we've been at yesterday, and where we'll be at for our Wednesday and Thursday as well. Now, once those rain chances do peel back, we open the door to drier air. And why that matters, because it makes the temperatures feel much better. While the temperature's not seeing much difference there, Saturday 94, Sunday 94, that's still toasty. But when we make those feels like values draw back into the what am I saying? The dew points draw back into the low 70s, upper 60s. That makes the feels like values only getting up around the triple digits, which means it's not under those heat advisories. Still going to be that Mississippi mugginess, but at least feels a little bit better. And that's something we'll continue to break down coming up in a few moments, is how to stay safe in the heat and being mindful of it over the next coming days. But coming up in the next 60 seconds, our Emily Leonard joins us with Mississippi Live News. Award recipients getting recognized. We'll see who they are coming up right after the break.
I have been going to Tupelo Smiles my whole life. When I was a kid, I was unhappy about some uneven coloring on my teeth after getting my braces off, which at the time there really wasn't a fix. I was recently made aware of a solution that would totally fix it, which is exactly what we did. They not only heard my concerns, but they never stopped looking to solve my problem, and that's why I love Tupelo Smiles.
Reserve your St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ticket by August 28th, and you'll be eligible to win the house and the bonus prize, a 2026 Polaris Ranger, courtesy of Dream Day Foundation. Visit dreamhome.org or call to reserve your ticket today.
When I look at all these success stories, I cannot help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Hello everyone, good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live. I'm Emily Leonard. Good people doing great things, amazing things. These are doctors Sam and Mary Pace, and they have been named this year's recipients of the Red Raspberry Humanitarian Award. Both of them so dedicated to enhancing local health care and our quality of life in the area. They have contributed to the Good Samaritan Health Services and the Healthcare Foundation of North Mississippi, and of course, the Regional Rehab Center. They'll be honored at the Regional Rehab Center's annual awards dinner. That is April 20th, 2027, so mark your calendars. These are good people. What's old can be new once again. Corinth's Old East Elementary is becoming a career and tech center. The school board approved plans Thursday for the C-Tech facility, the next phase of a long-planned project moving toward bidding. Classrooms will house programs like culinary, law and public safety, robotics, and unmanned aircraft. Superintendent John Barnett says flexibility is really a big priority for them, so these rooms can adapt if the industry changes, which of course it will. The board also approved a no-cost change at Warrior Stadium, directing water away from the visitor concession stands. Maybe you need a job. Ashley Furniture is hiring, and they are holding a job fair this week. These are for positions in 3 of their locations, Ecru, Saltillo, and Verona. Walk-ins are welcome, same-day interviews, and even on-the-spot job offers. All you have to do is bring a valid ID and your Social Security card. The job fair will be in Tupelo at the Renaissance Center for Ideas on East Main Street. That's in downtown near Mugshots, right across from the arena. If you were not able to be there on Tuesday, they'll be there Wednesday and Thursday as well from 8:30 to 4. The city of Belmont is celebrating, as they should, because they have a brand new shiny fire truck and it looks great. On Monday night, the city showed off new Engine 1 with a hose uncoupling ceremony, and folks had the chance to look at the truck and look in the fire station as well. The new truck will replace a current fire truck that's nearing the end of its service life. This new truck, by the way, cost $736,000. They got $550,000 in state funding, and then the city covered the rest. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Mississippi Live. I'm Emily Leonard. You guys have a great night.
Friday, August 21st, don't miss the Tupelo Super Show benefiting St. Jude, featuring the legends of Memphis Wrestling. Reserve your seat right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
So like we've been mentioning from start to finish on our Tuesday, heat is going to be a big factor for our Wednesday. You can see those extreme heat warnings in effect across the river, Tunica, Coahoma, Quitman, and Tallahatchie County. The rest of us, heat advisories, and if you don't have that, well, you're one of the fortunate folks there in Tishomingo and Franklin County. But anyway, it's a time to prepare for the heat. And while we did take a step back today, we're ramping that up once again for our Wednesday. So let's talk about ways to beat the heat. I want to re-emphasize this over and over and over again because we unfortunately do see significant impacts here in Mississippi and have so seen impacts here in 2026. Stay indoors in the air conditioning whenever possible. The more you open that door, the more the air conditioner needs to be used, and that unfortunately ups that power bill, but it also makes the home warmer. So stay inside, enjoy some time indoors, even if you do have those rain chances as well. All the more reason to be inside. If your home does not have air conditioner, check your area for a cooling center. Make sure to remain hydrated. This is one of the key points, actually the key point heading into our Wednesday. Have a bottle of water handy, stay hydrated throughout the day, and that helps combat the heat as well. Restocks those sweat glands, right? Check on those most vulnerable to the heat, including children and the elderly, something we talked about yesterday with the amount of power outages that we had. It was a time where you needed to check your next door neighbors and make sure that everyone was okay, especially if they are the elderly or if they are young children. We want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. And if you must go outdoors, go early or late in the day. Like I mentioned, the Maynor house, we water our garden at like midnight. So join me then. And make sure to dress in light colored clothing. Something Matt talked about a little bit earlier on was a way that you can stay cool as we continue to have like white or something that reflects the sunlight and doesn't absorb it. Like a black jacket, not exactly ideal for the heat. But if I took the jacket off and had the white shirt, then that would feel a little bit better whenever we're talking about the heat. And hey, every degree matters around this time of year, and we want to make sure we do what we can. I do want to pull up the chat real quick. I do see some folks there. I don't want to overlook it. I appreciate everyone for joining us. I see Jason, North Texas, Arnita from Corinth. Appreciate you guys for joining us. Jason was asking, aren't the dew points coming down a little bit? You're exactly right. Into the weekend, dew points come down, moisture comes down, and that's one of the factors that factors into our heat indices. So the fact that the dew points come down, heat indices will follow suit, making it feel a little bit better by the weekend. I do see Kevin joining us from Portland, Maine. Kevin actually sent us that video of the hail last week where they had some impactful weather, and they're just in the jet stream nowadays where it's just that time of year, folks. So Maine more likely to see some of that active weather, but here in North Mississippi, that little sliver along 72 could see some strong storms getting into our Wednesday. But Kevin, appreciate you for joining us. We have Texas and we have Maine. Hey, might need to make it the United States live weather at this point. Matthew's saying, I'm not going to complain about the cold this winter. You know, that's always a fun question to ask this time of year. You say, do you want the cold air or do you want the hot air? And everyone's going to say cold around this time of year. But ask the same question in January, February, everyone's going to be praying for the heat. So that's where it's always a fun seeing the difference depending on the time of year. A few more days till the Burr month start. You're exactly right, and I am excited. We are what? Today is the 18th, 33 days away or so, give or take. I need to look up the exact time frame of fall starting, but 33 days, give or take, from fall happening. So it's going to be a great time entering into that next season. This heat is killer. Well, actually, Matthew, I know that you're saying that in a hyperbole sense, but it has unfortunately caused some casualties. So we want to make sure that we're taking those necessary precautions. Everything that I've said can potentially save your life, and we want to make sure that we want to do exactly that and recommend it to others as well. So unfortunately, we have seen multiple casualties here in Mississippi. Don't want to see any more added to that list. Can't wait just a few more days till the Burr months start. Yes, Justin, you're exactly right. And hopefully with the Burr months comes some cold air, because I am ready to drop these temperatures a little bit over the coming days. coming weeks at this point, looking at that extended forecast. We're going to continue to look at that in much more detail on the Mississippi Live Weather app with our meteorologist Maggie McCauley bright and early on your Wednesday morning. Like, subscribe, and follow on all of the socials, and you're able to tune in from Maine, from Texas, or even right here in North Mississippi. And we appreciate everyone for joining us, no matter where you're at. It always just means the world and warms our hearts, I guess literally with the forecast, but warms our hearts that you guys continue to support us here on Mississippi Live. Our next broadcast, 6:30, 7 and 7:30 with our meteorologist Maggie McCauley. We'll see you then. Have a wonderful Wednesday and, of course, a wonderful start to your Wednesday, bright and early, 6:30, 7 and 7:30. We'll see you then.
For years, it's been the same formula. If it bleeds, it leads. You deserve better. We are Mississippi Live. We're focused on the stories that matter to you, to your community, to your family, because local matters. We are Mississippi Live.
Looking for a place to finally call home? At Tupelo Home Center, we make it easy. From finding the perfect home to making financing a breeze, we'll take care of everything. Your new home is closer than you think. Pre-qualify today at TupeloHomecenter.com.